There's a sound that every single homeowner just dreads. It's that little drip that turns into a torrent, or maybe it's that silent creeping stain on the ceiling that tells you a disaster is already underway. Water damage. It can feel like a sudden, chaotic attack on your home. But what if you had a playbook for that chaos? Well, today we're going to break down the entire process, from that first moment of crisis all the way through the science of restoration. So let's pull back the curtain and arm you with the knowledge you need to fight back. All right. First things first, we need to understand the enemy. In the story of your home, believe it or not, water can quickly become the villain, this unwelcome intruder that causes more destruction than pretty much anything else. I want you to just think about it for a second. When it comes to sheer, widespread, and, let's be honest, costly damage to a property, what's the number one culprit? Is it fire? Maybe storms? Nope. It's water. And the reason is actually pretty simple. It's relentless, it's sneaky, and it gets in everywhere. It soaks into drywall, seeps right under your floor boards, and it can compromise the very structure of your home, a lot of the time completely out of sight. And the threat? It can come from literally anywhere. We're talking about everything from old supply lines that just finally give out to a 50-gallon water heater deciding to empty its entire tank all over your floor. Heck, even your air conditioning system, with a simple little clog in its condensate line, can cause massive ceiling damage. It's a risk for everyone. It doesn't matter if your home is brand new or 100 years old. So here's the most crucial point, and if you remember one thing, remember this. Time is your absolute worst enemy in a water damage event. Every single hour that goes by, the problem gets exponentially worse. Water that could have been pulled from a carpet now soaks into the subfloor, and that damp drywall, it just became the perfect breeding ground for mold. But listen, panic is not a strategy. Knowing what to do in that first hour is everything. This is where you shift from being a victim of the event to actually taking control. So let's walk through the proven playbook for bringing order back to the chaos. 24 to 48 hours. Get that number in your head. That is the critical window. Because after that, in a humid environment, mold can start to grow on wet building materials. This is exactly why the emergency response has to be immediate and effective. There is absolutely no time to waste. So the pros, they follow a very strict protocol. First, they find and they stop the source of the water. Then the extraction starts, using these powerful machines to pull out all the standing water. Anything that just can't be saved, like soggy insulation or warped drywall, that gets removed. And finally, the industrial strength drying equipment gets set up. It is a methodical assault to stop the damage right in its tracks. Now, getting the standing water out, that's just the beginning. The real battle is against the hidden moisture that's trapped deep inside your walls, your floors, and your ceilings. And this is where the real magic, or, the real science, actually happens. But before any of that can happen, professionals have to answer a really important question. What kind of water are we actually dealing with? Because not all water damage is created equal. The IICRC, that's the institute that basically sets the gold standard for the industry, they have a system for this, and it dictates the entire safety and cleanup protocol based on how contaminated the water is. And this table here breaks it down perfectly. Category 1, that's clean water from a burst supply line, basically tap water. Category 2, or gray water, might come from a washing machine overflow. It's got some contaminants in it. But Category 3, black water, that's a serious biohazard. We're talking about water filled with bacteria and pathogens from sewage backups or floods that can make you incredibly sick. It's also really important to understand these two terms that get thrown around, mitigation and restoration. Mitigation is the emergency phase. It's all about stopping any more damage by getting the water out and drying the structure. Restoration is what comes after. That's the rebuilding phase. So think of it like this. Mitigation is first aid, restoration is the reconstructive surgery. Both are critical, but they're very different stages. And to do all this, restorers use some pretty incredible gear. We're talking truck-mounted extractors that can suck out thousands of gallons of water an hour. But probably the coolest tool in the box is the thermal imaging camera. It lets technicians literally see temperature differences caused by hidden moisture. It paints a clear picture of exactly where the enemy is hiding, behind walls and under floors. And all this amazing technology serves one scientific principle: psychrometry. Now, it sounds really complex, but it's just the science of air and water vapor. Think of it this way. Warm, dry air is really thirsty. So by creating a controlled desert inside your home with dehumidifiers and high-speed fans, professionals make the air so thirsty that it literally pulls the moisture right out of your walls and floors. Okay, so the structure is now scientifically proven to be dry. The emergency mitigation phase is over. Now the journey begins to turn that damaged, stripped down space back into the home that you actually recognize. It's really important to have realistic expectations here. This is not a one-day job. After that initial emergency response on day one, the structural drying phase usually takes 3 to 5 days. And during that time, they're doing daily monitoring to check moisture levels. Only after everything is verified as completely dry can the rebuilding even begin. The restoration phase, though, this is where the real transformation happens. Crews come in to replace drywall, install beautiful new flooring, and paint. The goal here is simple. Make it look like the damage never, ever happened, to restore your home completely to its pre-loss condition. So we've walked through the crisis and the cure, but honestly, the most powerful part of this entire story is the part you can write yourself. Let's talk about prevention, because your best defense is always a good offense. And what's remarkable is just how simple these preventative steps are. These aren't huge, expensive projects. We're talking about spending a few minutes to look under your sinks, maybe replacing those $5 washing machine hoses every few years, and, this is crucial, knowing exactly where your main water shutoff is before you ever need it. These tiny actions can save you thousands of dollars and an unbelievable amount of stress. And that's really the ultimate takeaway here. The most effective tool you have against water damage isn't a pump or a fancy dehumidifier, it's a proactive mindset. Shifting from reactive panic to just proactive maintenance, that puts you firmly in control of your home's destiny. So I'll leave you with this one thought. A tiny water stain, a little musty smell, maybe a slight buckle in the floor. These are all messages. Your home is constantly communicating with you about its health. The real question is, are you listening?